सब सखी गण सब सखी खुशी से प्रकृति सुंदरी कृष्ण लीला है प्रकृति सुंदरी कृष्ण लीला है प्रकृति सुंदरी कृष्ण लीला है प्रकृति सुंदरी।
प्रभु का नंबर है आपके पास? कुछ रिकॉर्डिंग कर रहे थे क्या? कुछ रिकॉर्डिंग कर रहे थे क्या? अच्छा अच्छा, पहले यूट्यूब खोलिए। एक तो वर्णा प्रभु में हरे कृष्णा।
Performing his pastime as the king of all the transcendental mellows. Situated upon the 8 petals of the 12 altars, Sri Radha and Sri Hari, surrounded by their attendants, the 8 chief gopis. There, Krishna performs his amorous pastimes, which are just like a waterfall of nectar. By singing sweet songs and by dancing nicely, all the gopis satisfy the treasured divine power. Thus, beholding Krishna's pastimes with his beautiful female consort expanding throughout the splendorous forest. For the sake of the mellows of such pastimes, I will not go to my home, but I will instead enter into the forest. Renouncing all shyness due to fear of family members, just worship the Lord of Brahma. This is the humble submission of Srila Bhaktivinoda. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki, Radha Vrindavan Chandra ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari.
जय राधा वृंदावन चंद्र राधा वृंदावन चंद्र राधे जय निताय गौरंग जय निताय गौरंग गौरंग जय निताय गौरंग जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतश्री श्रीमद् डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 3, Text number 18. Chaturdasham Narasimham Chaturdasham Narasimham Chaturdasham Narasimham Bibhrad Daitendriyam Urjitam Bibhradaitendriyam Urjitam Bibhradaitendriyam Urjitam Dadara Karajaihi Urao ददार कर जयरूराव, ददार कर जयरूराव, एरकाम कट कृद यथा, एरकाम कट कृद यथा, एरकाम कट कृद यथा, चतुर्दशम नारसिंहम बिभ्रद्दैत्येन्द्रियमूर्छितम् ददार कर जयरूराव, एरकाम कटकृद्यता, चतुर्दशम नारसिंहम बिभ्रद्दैत्येन्द्रियमूर्छितम् ददार कर जयरूराव, एरकाम कटकृद्यता, चतुर्दशम नारसिंहम बिभ्रद्दैत्येन्द्रियमूर्छितम् ददार कर जयरूराव, एरकाम कटकृद्यथा, चतुर्दशां नारसिंहं बिभ्रद्दैत्येन्द्रियमूर्छितं ददार कर जयरूराव, एरकाम कटकृद्यथा, चतुर्दशं नारसिंहं बिभ्रद्दैत्येन्द्रियमूर्छितं ददार कर जयरूराव, एरकाम कटकृद्यथा, चतुर्दशं नारसिंहं बिभ्रद्दैत्येन्द्रियमूर्छितं ददार कर जयरूराव, एरकाम कटकृद्यथा. Translation, synonyms. Chaturdasham, the 14th in the line. Narasimham, the incarnation of the Lord as half man and half lion. Bibhrat, advented. Daitya Indram, the king of the atheists. Urjitam, strongly built. Dadara, bifurcated. Karajaihi, by the nails. Urav, on the lap. Erakam, canes. Katakrit, carpenter. Yatha, just like. Translation purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charanarvinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. In the 14th incarnation, the Lord appeared as Narasimha and bifurcated the strong body of the atheist Hiranyakashipu with his nails, just as a carpenter pierces cane. Translation with repetition. In the 14th incarnation, the Lord appeared as Narasimha and bifurcated the strong body of the atheist Hiranyakashipu with his nails, just as a carpenter pierces cane. Thus is the Bhaktivedanta translation. Om Ajnanatimmirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Nijanamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Vedvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we are continuing the discussion on the third chapter. Verse 17 is what we saw last week. This time we are reading through verse number 18. And Suta Goswami is continuing to describe the different incarnations of the Lord and he is very succinctly explaining the different activities performed by these incarnations. And in the previous verses also we saw how the Supreme Lord has multifarious incarnations, unlike the common understanding that the incarnations are only Dashavatara incarnations. There are actually 10 incarnations is what people believe, but actually the Bhagavatam says that the number of incarnations are like bubbles in the ocean. So here there is a brief list of incarnation which is mentioned by Sudha Goswami. Here is mentioning the 14th incarnation, Chaturdasham. Chaturdasham means 14. Chaturdasham Narasimham. The 14th incarnation is who? Narasimha. And Narasimha appeared to protect Prahlad Maharaj. So Chaturdasham Narasimham Bibrad Daitya Indram Uruchi. Daitya Indram, the king of the atheists. Who is the king of the atheists? Hiranyakashipu. And Prabhupada also describes the word Hiranya. Hiranya means gold, Kashipu bedding. These two are a of a person who has atheistic temperament. Generally, people who have atheistic temperament, they will tend to be attracted to gold and soft bedding. In other words, they are attracted to sense gratification. So that's why he is described as Daitya Indriyam, the king of the atheists. Bibrad, the Supreme Lord, appeared. And how did he kill Hiranyakashipu? Hiranyakashipu's body was strongly built. Urjitam. He killed Hiranyakashipu by bifurcating his body. Dadara. And how did he bifurcate his body? With his nails. Narasimha bifurcated the body of Hiranyakashipu with his nails. And he placed Hiranyakashipu on the lap and bifurcated his body. And the analogy is given just like a carpenter. You've seen the carpenter sawing the wood, cutting the wood. In the similar way, the Supreme Lord bifurcated the body of Hiranyakashipu with his own nails. So that is what is being described in this particular verse. The Supreme Lord is the protector of his devotees. All the Supreme Lord is equal to all. The Supreme Lord is equal to all, irrespective of caste, creed, race, religions, demons, and demigods. He has an inclination towards the devotees. He supports the devotees. Prahlad Maharaj, being a great devotee of the Lord, was also protected personally by the Lord. Prahlad Maharaj was an ideal example of a devotee. Prahlad Maharaj began the practice of bhakti right from the womb of his mother. It so happened that during the war between the demigods and the demons, the demigods and the demons are always at war with each other. Once there was a war between the demigods and the demons won over the demigods. The demigods won over the demons. And when this war was going on like this, Indra took this opportunity to try and kidnap the wife of Hiranyakashipu. The wife of Hiranyakashipu was Kayadu. And Kayadu was carrying Prahlad Maharaj in the womb. When Hiranyakashipu was trying to kidnap Kayadu, because Hiranyakashipu's descendants are all demons, because Hiranyakashipu belonged to the Daitya community, and he thought that son also will be a great Daitya, and then he thought he can kill the child in the womb itself before the child is born. So Indra was trying to kidnap Prahlad Maharaj. Kayadu was carrying Prahlad Maharaj, but then Narada Muni interfered. He said, stop. He said, the child in the womb of Mother Kayadu is a great devotee. Everybody has a potential to become a great devotee of the Lord. And then Narada takes Kayadu to his ashram and he preaches about Bhagavatam. And it is mentioned by Prabhupada that Kayadu was a great devotee of Lord Vishnu. So there is no disqualification of somebody being a Daitya or somebody being a demigod. A demon or a demigod, both can become devotees of the Supreme Lord. So in this case, Kayadu was a great devotee of the Lord and she began to hear the narrations or the pastimes from Narada Muni. When Kayadu began to hear Prahlad, who was in the womb, he also heard this story, the pastimes of the Supreme Lord while he was in the womb of his mother. And that is where he learned the signs of bhakti by hearing from a pure devotee of the Lord. And then he was born a devotee. During his younger days, when Prahlad was about 5 years old after his birth, Prahlad was sent to school. Just like any other kid was sent to school, Prahlad was sent to school. When he was at school, during the break time, he used to preach about Krishna consciousness to his friends. He says, my dear friends, actually this is not the time to play, but this is the time to practice Krishna Bhakti. All his friends would inquire, my dear Prahlad, this is the time to play. Krishna Bhakti is done much later for the elders. It's not for us. And then Prahlad Maharaj preached to them, Kaumaram Acharet Pragno. You have to begin Krishna Bhakti at a very young age. Because time is always fleeting. And anybody who begins Bhakti at a very young age, he is bound to become Krishna conscious. He is more likely to become Krishna conscious by the end of his life. So, in this way, Prahlad Maharaj began to glorify the Supreme Lord. He began to glorify the Supreme Lord Vishnu in all of his activities. Surprised by this kind of a behavior, because the teachers at the school, they never taught him about Krishna Bhakti. Just like the modern day teachers, they don't talk about Krishna Bhakti because they are not aware of Krishna Bhakti. Likewise, Prahlad Maharaj's teachers, they were also not aware of Krishna Bhakti. They never taught Krishna Bhakti. But this child is speaking about Krishna Bhakti. How is this possible? They were curious to know. They did not know. They never taught him. Then there was a meeting between Hiranyakashipu and the teachers, because Hiranyakashipu wanted to know what his child is learning at school. Is he becoming adept with material knowledge? Is he becoming strong at material knowledge? Is he learning the different subjects which they are trying to teach him? So Hiranyakashipu asked Prahlad, my dear Prahlad, what did you learn in school? And in reply, Prahlad Maharaj began to glorify. He began the glorification of the Supreme Lord Krishna. The moment Hiranyakashipu heard, where have you learned this from? Immediately he asked the teachers, have you taught them these things? Have you taught them Krishna Bhakti? Because you see, Asuras have a natural tendency to be averse to Krishna Bhakti. Vishnu Bhakti Bhaved Dhaiva. The Devatas are differentiated from the Asuras by their one aspect. What is that? Vishnu Bhakti. The demigods perform Vishnu Bhakti. The demons do not perform Vishnu Bhakti. So Hiranyakashipu was curious. Where are you learning this Vishnu Bhakti from? So the teachers didn't have an answer. The teacher said, sir, we are not teaching Krishna Bhakti to your son. We don't know where he is learning all these from. And then Prahlad was not subservient or did not show any kind of a subordination to his father. Father was trying to stop his Krishna Bhakti. He was a big hurdle to practice his Krishna Bhakti. But Prahlad Maharaj continued to glorify the Supreme Lord Vishnu. He never gave up Krishna Bhakti. He never gave up about glorifying the Supreme Lord just because Hiranyakashipu was telling him to give it up. He was very determined to practice Bhakti. Then Hiranyakashipu tried all kinds of heinous ways to put down Prahlad Maharaj. At first, Hiranyakashipu took Prahlad Maharaj to a cliff and tried to push him down. The Supreme Lord Vishnu saves him. He made elephants trample Prahlad, but still Prahlad was unaffected. Prahlad was put in boiling oil, but still Prahlad was protected personally by the Lord. In this way, various kinds of ways to establish control over his child was done by Hiranyakashipu, because Prahlad Maharaj was not subordinating to Hiranyakashipu. You look at the demon's mentality. It is his own son. But still Prahlad Maharaj was protected always by the Supreme Lord. Because Prahlad Maharaj was a great devotee of the Lord, and he became a great devotee of the Lord because of hearing about the pastimes of the Supreme Lord from Narada Muni. And during one such confrontation between the father and the son, Hiranyakashipu asks, where are you getting the strength from? I'm trying to punish you by all means and you're unaffected by this. Where are you getting the strength from? And Prahlad Maharaj immediately replied, I'm getting the strength from the same source from where you are getting the strength. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that I am the creator of this world. Aham sarvasya prabhavo mattas sarvam pravartate. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, I am the creator of this world, both material and spiritual. Whatever energies one has, whatever ability one has, all of this is coming from me, is what Krishna is saying. And this is what exactly Prahlad Maharaj quoted. And then Hiranyakashipu asks, this particular Vishnu that you are talking about, the all-pervading Vishnu, where is he? And then Hiranyakashipu asks Prahlad, do you think he's here in this palace? Anywhere in this palace? I can see this big pillar here in this palace. Is he there in this pillar? Prahlad Maharaj replied, yes, he's definitely there everywhere. He's all pervading. Then if he's there in this pillar, let me break this pillar and prove it to you that he is not there. So in his attempt to prove, he broke the pillar with all his might and strength. And from the pillar came out Narasimha. And Narasimha came and manifested from the pillar to protect his devotees, his devotee Prahlad. And then he kills Hiranyakashipu in this way. How? Dadara karajai urav. By bifurcating his body with his nails. Just like a carpenter cuts the cane, the wood. Similarly, Hiranyakashipu's body was bifurcated. Although Hiranyakashipu was blessed by the demigod, Lord Brahma, because Hiranyakashipu's desire was to become immortal. So he had taken a benediction from Brahma that I should not be killed in any of the ways. But the Lord killed him in ways that he could not conceive of. He never thought that he'll be killed by putting on the lap. He never thought that he'll be killed by half man, half lion, because one of his prayer was to be not killed by any creature of this world. But the Lord manifested as a creature which never existed in this world. There is no creature like half man, half lion never existed. But the Supreme Lord appeared. That's why they said the Supreme Lord is the intelligence of the intelligent. He's the most intelligent person. Nobody can deceive him. Nobody can cheat him. So, in this way, Hiranyakashipu was actually destroyed. He was killed by the Supreme Lord as Narasimha. Because of Prahlad Maharaj's surrenderance, Prahlad Maharaj is glorified as a Mahajana. The Vedic literatures the Mahabharata describes Tarko Apratishta Shrutayo Vibhinna. Tarka means logic or arguments. One cannot understand or ascertain the truth by logic and arguments. Tarka means logic. Logic and arguments, you cannot understand and establish the truth. Just like in the modern world, we have many debating clubs. We have panel discussions among big leaders, but they still cannot establish the truth. Tarko apratishta shrutayo vibhinna. Shruti refers to the Vedic literatures, and these Vedic literatures are vibhinna. There are many varieties of scriptures. There are crores and crores of verses in each one of these scriptures. Shrutayo vibhinna. Naso muniryasya matam na bhinnam. Muni means great thinkers. In this world, there are many great thinkers. Great materialistic thinkers. Great philosophical thinkers. Just like when you open Facebook, there are Facebook or Instagram, there are many quotes of these great thinkers. Correct? People appreciate, oh, what a great thought about life. Even such people cannot understand and establish the truth. Naso muniryasya matam na bhinnam jivasya tattvam nihitam guhayam. The life's truths cannot be understood. Jivasya tattvam means the life's truth. Tattvam means truth. Jiva is life. Jiva's truth, the self's truth, can never be understood. It is guhayam. It is confidential. Nihitam guhayam. Then what to do? Mahajanayena gatasya panta. Follow the footsteps of the Mahajanas. In this context, Prabhupada gives a very nice analogy. The word guhayam, if you see the word guhayam, has a word in it. It is called guha. What is guha? Yes? What is the meaning of guha? Yeah? Guha is not secret. Yeah. But what is the general meaning of guha? Cave. Guha means cave. And imagine there is a cave with treasures. And somebody knows the route to reach that cave. What will you do? You will simply follow the path that he followed to reach the cave. Similarly, the pure devotees, the Mahajanas of the Lord, have chalked out a path. They have themselves traversed the path to reach the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When we follow their footsteps, then we will also reach the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that path is chalked out by the Mahajanas. And Prahlad Maharaj is one such Mahajana. Mahajanayena gatasya pantha. Therefore, religion chalked out by the Mahajanas has to be followed to attain the Supreme Lord. Religion cannot be concocted. Today we have Mahakumbh happening, where crores and crores of people, it is the world's largest gathering, crores and crores of people are assembling at Sangam, at Prayag, to take a dip. Correct? Can we call all of them Mahajanas? There are many many people, many Babajis are becoming famous. The Babaji from IIT Bombay, the Babaji from some Akhada, they're all becoming famous. Some Babaji who spits fire, some Babaji who carries a snake on the neck, some Babaji who has not taken bath for many years. They're all becoming famous. Mahajanayena gatasya panta. Is that what we have to say for them? Oh, this Babaji, I should become like this Babaji. And it's boring to take bath and all. Let me not take bath. Will you attain God? But people are getting enamored by such renunciation. The display of renunciation is also an anartha for a devotee. Anybody who displays renunciation, he's trying to get cheap followers. Because renunciation is an opulence. Richness is an opulence. Somebody is very wealthy. He'll attract, hey, so much of wealth he has. Likewise, renunciation is also an opulence. Somebody is highly renounced, it attracts. Hey, he's renounced here. IIT Bombay career is renounced. Looks attractive. It is not about what you renounce and what you possess. It is about the knowledge that you speak about the Supreme Lord. That is what counts. The knowledge about the Supreme Lord is revealed by whom? Mahajanas. Mahajanaena gatasya pantha. Because such Mahajanas can get us immortal life, a life of eternality in Vaikuntha. It is for the very same reason of getting immortality this Mahakumbh is celebrated. And all people gather with the interest, with the same interest of becoming immortal. But it's not necessary they all know the path for becoming immortality. It is not by simply taking a dip that one can become immortal. One can become immortal only by following the steps of a pure devotee of the Lord. Mahajanaena gatasya pantha is what the Vedic scriptures say. And what should we do with that Mahajana? Krishna describes in the Bhagavad Gita. Tad viddhi pranipatena. First go find out a Mahajana. Surrender unto him. Pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. Ask relevant questions and do service unto him. Then what happens? Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam. He will give you upadesha. Upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. He knows the truth. He has seen the cave. He will take you to that cave. He has seen the Lord. He will take you to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is why it is said that one has to follow in the footsteps of a pure devotee, not some Babajis who are simply Kumbh Mela. They may all have the interest of liberation, but it's not that they're going to liberate you. Until unless somebody is liberated, one cannot liberate others. One can get only cheap followers. In fact, Mahakumbh is celebrated every year, every 12 years, because there was once Durvasa Muni who went to Indra's kingdom and palace, and he offered a very special garland which he got from one of the goddesses, demi-goddesses. He offered this very special garland. It's like when any guests go home, they carry some gift and give. So that Durvasa Muni went to Indra's place and he offered this garland. And Indra had a lot of pride. He took the garland and he gave it to his elephant, Airavata. And since this garland had a very strong, scent, a very good smell, it attracted a lot of bees. So this garland which was there on the trunk of the elephant was kind of irritating the elephant because a lot of bees were around this garland. So immediately the elephant put this garland down and it trampled on the garland. This Durvasa Muni took it as a great disrespect. I have offered him the best of the garlands and Indra has insulted me like this. Immediately Durvasa Muni cursed Indra. He said, you will lose, you and your kingdom will be bereft of all the power. And that is when all the devatas lost power. The moment devatas lost power, the demons began to attack the devatas. And demons were led by Bali Maharaj. And when demons attacked the devatas, Devatas lost in the battle. When Devatas lost in the battle, they took shelter of Lord Vishnu. When they approached Lord Vishnu, Vishnu said, there is a very great nectar or an amrit hidden in the ocean. Anybody who takes this nectar, he will be immortal. And I want to give you this nectar. But to take that nectar, you must churn the ocean. And he said, you take the help of the demons to churn the ocean. And that is when demons and demigods had an agreement. What is that agreement? Both you and I will churn the ocean, will divide the nectar. So during the churning of the ocean, different living entities came out. Lakshmi came out, hala poison came out, nectar also came out. When nectar came out, correct, Dhanvantri is the one who bought the nectar. When nectar came out, the demons snatched the nectar away. And then Mohini allured the demons, took the nectar back and gave it to the demigods. And a portion of the nectar is said to be found in different places. It is found also in this region of Prayagraj. Therefore, anybody who takes dip there, they are said to be immortal. So this is the long and short of what that story is. So basically, with the same interest of understanding the Supreme Lord, so many crores of people are coming there. Correct? But that religion, that practice, which is chalked out by a Mahajana, has to be followed to actually attain immortality. Not by simply taking dip in the Ganges. By taking dip in the Ganges, Prabhupada says, one may become a pious soul. One may become free from diseases. But is it guaranteed to get liberation from this materialistic cycle of birth and death? Not necessarily. For that, we have to follow the path of a Mahajana. So that's a very, very important point. Otherwise, religion is generally in India, religion is a concocted religion. What you believe is what is religion. You believe in Shiva? Okay, no problem. You believe in worshipping some devatas? No problem. That is your religion. This is how religion is made into just a belief. What you believe in is what is religion. This idea of belief is actually deep-rooted in the modern society. Because anything material you can achieve by belief, which is true. It was October 20th, 1968, a grand Olympics. I think it was in Europe or France, I think in France to be specific. October 20th, 1968. Because the only entertainment in those days, of course TV was there, but the major entertainment for people were sports. And thousands of people had gathered in the stadium to watch their own countries participate. People from different countries had participated in sports Olympics. And in Olympics, there is actually a particular athletic sport which is called high jumping. We all know this high jumping, correct? So there is a pole which is kept horizontal at a particular height and somebody has to jump. And whoever jumps the highest, he's the winner. Very simple. It was at that time, there was one sportsman, a high jumper called Fosbury. Fosbury had difficulty in jumping, in high jumping, like the way Olympic sportsmen used to jump. The traditional way of high jump began with people just jumping across the pole. You just run, just like you jump a compound, like that you just jump. You've seen hurdles running, people jump across the hurdles. They used to jump in that format. And this
many people thought was the norm. This is the normal way of jumping. And the best jumper in the world jumped for about 2.2 meters. So people thought that we cannot jump beyond 2.2 meters. Nobody in the world can do this. But Fosbury, being a civil engineer, he understood the dynamics of the body. He understood that if I can manage my center of gravity well, I can jump higher. How many of you have seen high jump here? How do they jump? Do they jump straight like that? They kind of bend backwards and jump, if you have observed that, isn't it? This jumping technique, for the first time the world witnessed in 1968 on October 20th. This was done by Fosbury. And he set the world record in 1968 by jumping 2.24 meters high using this particular trick. It is famously called the Fosbury flip. You just run, you flip around your back and then you jump. That's the easiest way of jumping. The moment Fosbury did this record was broken 17 times in the next 1 year. So your achievement is directly proportional to what you believe. So people think belief is equal to achievement. People thought that 2.2 meters is the highest. I cannot jump beyond this. But the moment Fosbury broke this record, 100 other people began to break the records. 17 times that the records are broken. Another example. An average human being can run a mile. At least people in the 1940s thought it will take about 7 to 8 seconds. 8 seconds is the highest, not below that. Not even 7, 8 seconds. But in 1940s, there is a man who ran a mile in about 4 seconds. 4 minutes. He ran in about 4 minutes. The moment, his name is Roger Bannister. The moment he broke the record, people believed, yes, this is possible. And they broke this record many times after Roger Bannister proved that somebody can run in 4 minutes. So belief is equal to achievement. So people, what you believe is what you can achieve. This is a natural way of thinking for a materialist. If you believe you can, clear IIT exam, you can clear. Isn't it? So natural tendency is to think belief is equal to achievement. So people tend to think, if I believe in certain thing, that God is like this, God will manifest like that. And people think that that is religion. And people generally tend to think Hinduism is not a rigid religion. You can believe whatever you want and you can practice whatever you want. That's your belief. That's your religion. That's your Hinduism. This is not Hinduism. This is called mental concoction. And Krishna, specifically Arjuna, asked to Krishna about this very thing. What happens to those who follow imagined rules and regulations which are not existent in Shastras? What is their position? Arjuna asked to Krishna. And Krishna answers this. In the 17th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, he answers. What happens to those who practice religion, actually which are not based upon the Vedic literatures? And Krishna says that anybody who follows the scripture, do not follow the religion which is not mentioned in the scriptures, are doomed to not get the result of the particular practice. It's all concocted practice. So therefore it is very, very important to follow the Mahajanas. What we believe in is not religion. What we believe in is what we can achieve. This is the natural way of thinking for a materialist. So people, what you believe is what you can achieve. This is a natural way of thinking for a materialist. So people tend to think belief is equal to achievement. So belief is equal to achievement. So people tend to think if I believe in certain thing, that God is like this, God will manifest like that. And people think that that is religion. And One day, during one of the discussions after the Bhagavatam class, one person came and asked, Prabhu, I see Krishna whenever I sleep, I see Krishna wherever I go, I see Krishna wherever I walk, when I work, when I talk. I always see Krishna, always. Isn't that Krishna conscious? Somebody asked like this. So, the idea of Krishna that we have is not necessarily Krishna as he is. The idea of Krishna that we have is gotten from society, is gotten from our parents. But the idea of Krishna, not necessarily Krishna, the idea of Krishna presented by the Mahajanas, that is Krishna. And the idea of Krishna presented by the Mahajanas is captured by his sincere followers. Like Prabhupada has understood who Krishna is, what is Krishna's position, how Krishna is the absolute truth, what is the meaning of absolute truth, how the absolute truth is in control of the entire creation, how everything is emanating from him. This idea of Krishna we can only get by hearing from a pure devotee of the Lord. Therefore, we have to hear from Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. Without Guru, the idea of Krishna that we have gotten from people, from society, that is not Krishna. That is an idea of Krishna. You may have a sentiment for Krishna. But to evoke transcendental sentiment, which is bhakti, you have to follow the path chalked out by pure devotees of the Lord. So, they establish concretely, not as a belief. Krishna is not just merely a belief. You believe in Krishna, for you Krishna. I believe in Shiva, for me the Shiva is absolute truth. That's not the way. One has to understand the truth in reality from a pure devotee of the Lord, and not only understand but experience Krishna. The experience of Krishna is what is keeping us in Krishna consciousness today. The experience of Krishna in Krishna Prasadam, the experience of Krishna in chanting the holy names, the experience of Krishna in deity, the experience of Krishna by personally changing your habits. Your habit before Krishna consciousness, your habit after Krishna consciousness is changed. These experiences are undeniable. And Krishna and Prabhupada's mercy is their Guru Krishna Kripa by Bhakti Lata Beach. It is by the mercy of Guru and Krishna that we can get this Bhakti Latha, the experience of Bhakti. So it's a very, very important point for all of us to understand. So Prabhupada says here, actually there cannot be many religions. The rascal theory that there are as many religious systems as I can believe. You believe something, that's all right. I believe something, that's all right. He believes something, that's all right. No. It is not like that, Prabhupada says. Then everyone will believe like any nonsense. That becomes religion? No. Religion means dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. What the Bhagavan says is religion. Like Bhagavad Gita, Krishna saying Bhagavan uvacha, that is religion. So, somebody may have an opportunity to go to Kumbh Mela. Let's not get enamored by all these Babajis. Are they Mahajanas? Maybe there are Mahajanas. I'm not denying that everybody is not a Mahajan. Maybe there are Mahajanas, but it's very difficult for us to evaluate. Correct? So we have to follow in the footsteps of the Mahajanas to understand what real religion means. But to know real religion, one has to hear from a pure devotee of the Lord, from Prabhupada. The more we hear and understand Krishna consciousness from him, the confidential aspects of Krishna consciousness from him, how? By the revelation of knowledge in the heart. Divya Jnana Hriday Prakashito. He reveals to a devotee in the heart. That's why when we sing in the morning, Samsara Dhava Nananidha Loka, Tranaya karunya ghana ghanatvam. Just like the world is compared to samsara dava anala. Recently we had forest fires in Los Angeles. Huge forest fires. The winds were blowing at thousands of kilometers, and that intensified the forest fire. And there was dearth of water also in that particular place. So the forest fire could not be controlled. Uncontrollable. Within minutes, it is devouring big houses, big mansions. 9,000 houses have burned down. The world is compared to a forest fire, which cannot be controlled. Which cannot be controlled. Rich people invested huge amount of funds in building a big mansion, all burned down to ashes within minutes. The world is compared to a forest fire. An animal cannot survive in a forest fire. Wherever it runs, it's caught up in the forest fire. Similarly, the world is compared to a forest fire. And the only thing that can douse the forest fire is what? A heavy rain. Samsara dhava nananidhaloka tranaya karunya ghana ghanatvam. Like the rain over the forest fire, the spiritual master is actually pouring the rain. And what is rain compared to here? Prabhupada describes in one of the lectures, what is this rain compared to? The rain is compared to the Vani of a pure devotee of the Lord. He's pouring his rain in the form of his books, in the form of recorded lectures. He's pouring his rain. The rain might fall on rock, the rain might fall on sand. The sands absorb the rain. Rock doesn't absorb the rain, it just flows out. We have to learn to become soft and submissive like the sand. When soft and submissive hearing is there, it transforms the heart. It gets us out of the fire of material existence. And what is the fire of material existence? There are three kleshas: Adhyatmika klesha, Adi Bhautika klesha, and Adi Daivika klesha. The three kleshas the living entity undergoes is the forest fire that is continuously burning us. If you talk to anybody, their problems can be categorized into three. It's either Adi Daivika klesha, caused by floods, tsunamis and all that. Adi Bhautika klesha, the problems caused by living entities. Bosses in the company, people in the company, virus, mosquito, this, that, Adi Bhautika klesha. And Adhyatmika klesha, problem caused by his own body and mind. Somebody have mental illness, depression, somebody have physical illness. So all the problems that we are facing through can be classified into three. And all these kleshas can be overcome. How? By ghana ghanatvam, by the rain cloud. Correct? All this forest fire experiences that we are having in the form of three kleshas can be overcome by Vani of a pure devotee of the Lord. And he awakens the soul, the sleeping soul. He awakens it to reality. Otherwise the soul becomes busy fighting forest fire in his own ways. Just like the Los Angeles department, it's a very well-equipped nation. But such nation could not control forest fire. Of course, there are some theories which say that the forest fire is caused because of AI. ChatGPT has huge servers to cater its need, and it said that to answer a query which is of 3-4 lines, it consumes about 500 ml of water, because that much of amount of water is required to cool the servers. So imagine millions of people are using, that much of water is being consumed to cool the servers, and in essence there is water shortage. This is one of the theory that is proposed by some of the people, that the forest fire is caused by AI. So whatever is causing the forest fire, we ourselves are in a forest fire. Let's not get busy by fighting the forest fire on our own ways. Rather, we'll follow the footsteps of the Mahajanas. And today Prabhupada has set up a system, has set up a very wonderful mechanism by which we can become Krishna conscious. Correct? We can become Krishna consciousness in the association of devotees, by following the sadhana program, by being a part of this community here. You can get the interest to become Krishna conscious. You'll get inspiration to become Krishna conscious. And that is why Prabhupada has set up these temples. So the more you come and become associated with the devotees here, the more you'll feel the sense of becoming free from the forest fire of material existence. All of us have an experience of happiness after coming to Krishna consciousness, yes or no? We all have an experience. That experience is a slight relief from the forest fire of material existence. Imagining it fully relieved. The soul's nature is to be absolutely free, absolutely joyful. That's why Prabhupada says one of the symptoms of your progress in Krishna consciousness is that the devotee is jolly, is always happy. Internally. Externally there may be miseries, but internally he is joyful. That is Krishna consciousness. And that is the biggest gift which Prabhupada is giving us. And that is an opportunity which Prabhupada is giving us to practice Krishna consciousness and become free from the forest fire of material existence. So, we have to follow and learn and understand from the pastime of Prahlad Maharaj about how a devotee has to surrender, what are the devotional principles explained by Prahlad Maharaj. There are 9 devotional principles: Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedanam, Pada Sevanam. These are all the 9 principles of devotional service which Prahlad Maharaj has taught us, beginning with Shravanam. Correct? If one can perfect in one of this, one can go back to Godhead. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recommends in Kali Yuga, the simplest method is Shravanam. Sthane Sthita Shruti Gatam Tanuvan Manomi. Whatever position you are there, be in that position. But hear from a pure devotee of the Lord. So all of this is a part of our temple system. Make use of this ecosystem that is created by Prabhupada, and make sure you hear Prabhupada's lectures every day and read Prabhupada's books. Naturally you will tend to become happy, Krishna conscious. And why are you happy? Because you are becoming freed from the wildfire of material existence. Okay? So with this we'll stop here. Any questions anybody has? Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So, Prabhu, as we see in this series of verses, that God is equally merciful to the theist and the atheist. But as you mentioned in Los Angeles fire, there is a video circulating that previously 2 days in Bollywood they had insulted God in some context, something, and that is the reaction in the business. So from this, we understand that God is not merciful, he is revengeful. Is the right portrayal of God, or what can you throw some light from the Bhagavatam version, what God is like, how merciful he is?
The Supreme Lord is merciful to the soul. The experiences that the soul experiences within the body are the experiences which is coming out of his karma. The soul, because of the misuse of free will, it experiences pain or pleasure within the body. The bodily experiences that a soul experiences, God is not responsible for it. It is the free will of the living entity which is responsible for the experiences within the body. Now, in the devotee's case, the Supreme Lord tailors the bodily experience so that the soul elevates. Like in the case of Kunti Maharani. Kunti Maharani, why does she pray that give me more bodily pain so that I can remember you? And Krishna gives the bodily pain. He tailors the bodily pain for a devotee so that the Atma elevates. But in the case of a non-devotee, the experiences that the Atma undergoes within the body, he is solely responsible for it. The Supreme Lord is not responsible. Just like Prabhupada gives the example of a judge. The judge is not responsible for the criminal act, the judge is not responsible for punishing the criminal. The judge is responsible for proudly judging, making a judgment, an unbiased judgment about the criminal. But the criminal is responsible for his own acts. He is suffering in the jail not because of the judge, it is because of his own acts. Similarly, the experiences that the living entity undergoes within the body, the Supreme Lord is not responsible for it. The material pain, material pleasure, both responsibility is because of the soul. So that's a fundamental understanding. Therefore, we have to very minutely understand that laws of nature is a part of creation. It's a part of creation. There are certain laws which cannot be broken, and if you break the laws, there are reactions. So people are breaking the laws, like for example, meat eating. The biggest beef consumers are the US. So it's a cumulative effect of all these sinful reactions which people are just doing ignorantly, and the cause and the result of that is what is seen in terms of forest fire, in terms of houses being destroyed, people are stranded on the streets, many people being destroyed. So these are all reactions, and God is not responsible for that. And for this, people have to understand that there are laws of karma, and they cannot escape these laws. They are bound up by these laws, and they have to face the consequences of breaking these laws. And one cannot blame God for breaking the laws. One has to blame his own free will. Correct? So therefore people have to be educated in this way. People just blindly blame God. Because God does not support his material life, that does not mean God is revengeful. Correct? Because the material life and the material body is given to us as a facility by God to enjoy according to the desire of the soul. The Lord does not want you to be in the material body. But you force the Lord to get the material body. Therefore, Lord is forced to give. Correct? Does it answer your question, Prabhu? Any other question anybody has?
Nice question asked by Prabhu. So we can understand how atheists will take every opportunity to put a blame on Allah.
Yes, Prabhu.
So before the forest fire, they were making a fun of the Lord.
Yes.
And after the forest fire, forest fire happened because the Lord is very revengeful.
Revengeful. So both ways they're making fun.
Both ways, atheists will take the benefit to just to always put a blame on the Lord.
On the Lord, yes.
If it is that is the case, 99% of the world would have been forest fire because 99% of the population of the atheists.
Atheist, yes.
Every day, every now and then they are blaspheming the Lord.
Correct.
So the Lord is not revengeful, not at all revengeful.
Yes.
It's happening as per their own mistakes.
Own mistakes. So actually, the Lord is not biased. He is just, and everything is happening as per law. So it's a very important thing to understand that they are to blaspheme the Lord, whether good or bad, because of the demonic mentality.
And even when I say, so Lord is where is your Lord now?
Where is your Lord?
Where is your Lord? So much loss is happening, where is your Lord now? So they are sitting there because of their own misdeeds. Fire is being set. And now they want God to come and
protect. But before that also Lord was there. So they forgot that. Any other questions before we stop? Shri Prabhupada ki, Granth Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Sai Gaur Premanande.